Hello all. In this video we are going to see scheduling agreement. As we all know, outline agreements are of two types. One is contract and another one is scheduling agreement. Here we are going to cover all the configuration settings, output type and a release procedure of scheduling agreement. Before going to that, let us see how a scheduling agreement works. A scheduling agreement can be created with respect to purchase requisition, or it can be created directly through MRP, or one can create a scheduling agreement manually. So once a scheduling agreement is created, for that scheduling agreement one has to maintain scheduling lines, which means one has to give the quantity and delivery date. So how much quantity is needed at which date, that needs to be maintained. That is called scheduling lines. Once this has been maintained, then with respect to the scheduling agreement, one can send it to vendor, or this scheduling agreement will be sent to vendor directly through output type. Then vendor will send the goods to the company, which means one can do goods receipt directly with respect to scheduling agreement. And once goods has been received, then invoice can be paid with respect to scheduling agreement. This is the overall overview of a scheduling agreement. Let us see how this can be mapped in SAP. So let us go ahead and create different ways of creating and processing scheduling agreements. So firstly we will do the manual scenario, which means manually creating a scheduling agreement and processing it. So now for that purpose I am creating a material. So this is our material 60,043. Now we will go ahead and create a scheduling agreement. The transaction to create scheduling agreement is ME31L. Here we have two different types of agreement types. One is LP, which means scheduling agreement without release documentation, and another one is LPA, which is used for processing scheduling agreement with release documentation. LPA will be used in case of forecast based or just in time based scenarios. For now we are using LP document. So once we click on enter, system will prompt to enter validity end. So between this period one can maintain different scheduling lines, which we are going to see now. So click on enter. Now we can give the created material here, which is 60,043, and I am giving a target quantity of 1000. If we maintain any info record, then the price will be automatically picked up here. Otherwise, even though if we click enter, system will ask to give a net price, which is a mandatory field. See, now we are going to give a net price. This price will be taken for doing invoice. So now if we double click on the line item, here we can maintain furthermore parameters, like instead of doing MIGO, if somebody want to do a inbound delivery, and if there is any warehouse activation in order to process that inbound delivery, then one can maintain confirmation controls here. So for now I am saving it. So now the inbound delivery has been created. Now we have to go ahead and maintain the delivery scheduling lines, which means on which date how much quantity is required. So for doing so, we need to execute ME38. Here we can select the line item and go to delivery schedule, or from the options above we can go to delivery schedule. Here I am giving a delivery schedule line item for 10 quantity. Likewise, I am giving few more delivery quantities. These are called as delivery scheduling lines. Here for different dates I am maintaining different scheduling lines. In real time, business will maintain different scheduling lines as per their business need. So click on save. Once this has been saved, these delivery scheduling lines will get automatically updated in table EKET. Give the purchasing document and execute. Here we can see these are the different delivery dates and delivery quantities. Here the creation indicator is showing as R, which means manual. If this has been created through MRP, then it will be shown as B. So if this scheduling agreement is affected with any release procedure or not, that can be seen in EKKO table. So I am only checking those fields to check the release strategy. Here we can see the release indicator is being shown as 0, which means blocked. Usually it should be 1 in order to carry out goods receipt. So let us see how to release this scheduling agreement. To release the scheduling agreement, one has to execute the transaction ME35L. I will show you how a release procedure can be set up and can be processed. So upon execution, we can see here an indicator release possible. Clicking this one will release the scheduling agreement. This can be seen at table level EKKO. So once again I am executing the table EKKO to see if this has been completely released or not. Yes, this has been released. The release indicator is showing 1 and the release status is showing as single X, which means there is only one level of release, only one release code is there. So now we can go ahead and process goods receipt. In order to do goods receipt with respect to scheduling agreement, one can go to MIGO, goods receipt with respect to purchase order. We can give the scheduling agreement number and enter. Automatically system will show today's total quantity. Here for the previous date or today or past date, the total quantity is 10 plus 15 25. So this is the quantity system has summed up and is showing here since the date is today's date. So now I am going ahead and posting it. So usually it will be the same posting entries we can see for a normal purchase scenario, BSX and WRX. So now let us go ahead and do invoice. Here we can see for the 25 quantity for 85 per each has been calculated here and the total quantity has been appeared. So automatically the price has been picked up from scheduling agreement, and the usual invoicing keys should be KBS WRX. So this is how a manual scenario of scheduling agreement works. Next we will see how the scheduling agreement will work in case of MRP. So now let us go ahead and see how scheduling agreement works when MRP run happens. So in order to do that, we have created a material by maintaining all the MRP views. Here we can see we have maintained the MRP type as PD and rest of all the details are same. Also we have maintained MRP group as 0000 and maintained plant data and accounting one views. So this is the material we are going to use for this purpose. So before going forward, there could be a scenario where in a month, if a scheduling agreement has been created newly and MRP run happens, then immediately within that specific month, it is impossible for any vendor to send the material instantly. So the funda of scheduling agreement is vendor need the delivery date and delivery quantity prior as an intimation, so that it is a predetermined planning. So if something needs to be sent instantly, then assigning this document type as a standard is mandatory setting. So this is one thing I would like to show. So followed by we have to create an info record. Where we have already created an info record here, and we have to maintain a price. Here you can see I have maintained this price. So this is the info record we have created. The next prerequisite is we have to maintain a scheduling agreement. don't get confused here that we are running scheduling agreement with respect to MRP. We are not creating scheduling agreement with respect to MRP. So running a scheduling agreement or using a scheduling agreement that exists with a validity dates is different and creating is different. Creation is not possible, but if a scheduling agreement with validity dates is present in the system, that can be leveraged so that the scheduling lines, which means the delivery date and the needed delivery quantity, can be generated automatically. We are automating that process through this video. So if I click on enter, the price will be picked up automatically from the info record. I am changing it to a much lesser price and saving it. So the scheduling agreement gets saved. So we have created material, we have created info record, we have created scheduling agreement. The next one is we have to create a source list, wherein which we have to assign this scheduling agreement and line item. And another mandatory thing is we have to maintain this MRP indicator as 2, record relevant to MRP scheduling lines generated automatically. So by maintaining this, what will happen is whenever MRP run happen, system will check for that material if any source list exists. From there it will check the vendor and if there is any scheduling agreement available. Then using this scheduling agreement, system will check the validity period and the target quantity maintained. Then as per the maintained target quantity, system automatically will generate scheduling lines. So now we have maintained source list. So for our demo purpose, let us maintain some planned independent requirements for this material. I am maintaining monthly planned independent requirement. Saving it. So let us now run MRP for this material. Even in S4HANA also, the functionality remains the same, except instead of MD02 we have HANA given transactions. Now if we go into the result of the MRP, we can see for the first 10 quantity, which is for this month's requirement, system has created requisition with the assigned document type in OPPR, which I had shown initially, which means instantly for this month business need this 10 quantity. So for that purpose, system has created requisition. For the rest of the 25 quantity, for the rest of the 2 months, system has created scheduling lines using the scheduling agreement we have created. Here you can see the agreement we have created is 217. The same appeared here. Now if we go to display, this will go into the scheduling lines transaction. Here we can see for 1 month, for the second month it has taken 25 quantity, for the third month it has taken another 25 quantity. So now if we go to ME38, selecting this line item and going to delivery schedule, we can see here, if you can see, the fixed indicator is not ticked, whereas if manually a scheduling agreement is created, this indicator will get ticked automatically. So this is how a scheduling agreement works when MRP run is mixed with scheduling agreement through source list. So the rest of the process remains the same. If there is any release indicator or release procedure triggered, then one has to release this. The process to check the scheduling agreement, if that is affected with release procedure or not, is going to EKKO table and execute. If the release indicator is shown as 0, then it is blocked, which means this has to be released. Once we release it, then one can do the goods received as we have seen previously. So this is how scheduling agreement with MRP works. So let us now see how to create a scheduling agreement with reference to purchase requisition. So here you can see we have created a purchase requisition. Copy this and execute transaction ME31L. Create scheduling agreement. Here one has to give vendor and agreement type as mandatory inputs. Also plant, storage location, organization and purchase group. Then click on reference to purchase requisition and give the purchase requisition number and line item. Then click on continue. Automatically system will take you to the next screen where validity end is a mandatory field. Once this has been given and click on enter, system will take you to the line item where all the details are filled. Now select this line item and click on adopt plus details. All the details will get updated. If furthermore, if anyone want to give confirmation control where a scheduling agreement needs to be processed via a inbound delivery, then one can give a confirmation control here. Otherwise click on save. Now a scheduling agreement gets generated. The rest of the process remains the same. One has to give the scheduling lines followed by goods received followed by invoice. So this is how a scheduling agreement can be processed through purchase requisition. Let us now see how number range and document types can be configured for scheduling agreement. Go to SPRO, IMG, Materials Management, Purchasing, Scheduling Agreement, define number ranges. If we see here, we can see different number ranges that are already configured. The number range that is currently in use is 55. So if someone want to configure a new number range, one can go to change, insert line and give a new number range of their own. So now document type. Here we can see the document type as LP. the item interval is given as 10. So if in a scheduling agreement, if there are 3 different line items, the line items will come as 10, 20, 30. If this has been given as 5, then it will come as 5, 10, 15. So if you can see here, the number range which we have just seen, 55 has been assigned here. If external number range is needed, then it needs to be from one of the number range with object 56. And this is the field selection. So now if we go to allowed item categories, we can see different kind of processes, which means this scheduling agreement document type LP supports standard, consignment, subcontracting, third party and text. Select one and go to link purchase requisitions. Here ZNEW has been assigned, which means whenever a purchase organization, so a purchase requisition is created with ZNEW, that can be converted to scheduling agreement with document type LP. If this is not there, then in the previous process which we have seen, that a scheduling agreement created through purchase requisition won't work. So this is the configuration that is needed for that process. So these are the configurations for number range and document type. So in order to configure release procedure for scheduling agreement, one should create characteristics. Here I have created a characteristic where this characteristic is dependent on plant parameters. The field name is plant and I have assigned a value. So the T code to create characteristic is CT04. So now after creating these characteristics, one has to assign this in a class. CL02 is the class and the class type should be 032. This is same for purchase order also, and it remains the same for scheduling agreement as well. So now here you can see I have assigned this characteristic. So once this is done, then we have to go to SPRO IMG screen to configure the rest of the part. Go to materials management, purchasing, scheduling agreement, release procedure. Here edit characteristics. This we have already seen and the T code is CT04. Likewise edit class. This also we have seen now, which is CL02. Now define release procedure. In this, initially we have to configure release group, release codes. So double click on release group. Here we can see I have assigned this class and the release group being used is IT. Now go to release codes. Here there are two levels of release codes, 01 and 02. Go to release indicator. So if it is 0, then it should be blocked. If it is 1, then it should be released. Now go to release strategies, where here only one level is assigned. I am assigning second one. Then we have to click on release prerequisites and define the system how this release should work. If 02 and 01 are released, means if both the levels are released, then the scheduling agreement should be into released status. Click on statuses. So if no one releases, then it should be blocked. If only 01 release the scheduling agreement, still it should be blocked. If both the levels release, then it should be released. So this is how it should work. Click on continue. Save it. Click on classification. Here, whichever be the characteristics and the characteristical value we have maintained in CT04, we have to ensure that it has been assigned here. Save. Now click on release simulation and give a manual run so that system will understand. So level 1 released means it is affected, but still it is in blocked state. Now if level 2 is also released, then the status is in release. So yes, this is how my release strategy should work. Save it. So now if I go ahead and create a scheduling agreement, now my scheduling agreement will be affected with these two release codes. So I am saving this and I am maintaining scheduling lines. Only after maintaining the scheduling lines, the release procedure will be applied. So I am saving this. So if I go to table level EKET, let us see first. So both these scheduling lines should get updated in EKET if they are created correctly. So now here in EKET, the scheduling agreement gets updated properly, and if you can see here, the fixed indicator is checked. So now let us go to EKKO and see whether this is subjected to release or not. Yes. So now if I go to ME35L and I have to give 01 IT, which is my first level of release, and execute, a line item should come. So yes, it is coming properly. Released. Now I have to give the second line item with the same document number and execute. Now again the line item should come asking for release possible. Yes, released. Now come back. Now again check in EKKO table. Here you can see now this is released completely, and now this scheduling agreement is readily available to do goods receipt. So this is how release procedure works. So in order to configure message output type for scheduling agreement, one has to come to IMG screen, materials management, purchasing, messages, output control, define message determination schemas, and define message schema for scheduling agreement. Double click on define message determination schema. Here we can see there is a standard process that has been defined. Select that and go to control data. So LPET is the condition type or message type that will trigger. If we go to ME38 transaction, where the scheduling lines are maintained, go to header and messages. We can see the output type that is getting triggered here. This is because of this configuration setting. Once this is done, then go to NACE transaction. Then here the application type is EL, which is for scheduling agreement, and we have to see if there are any condition record exist for that output type. Select the output type here. Condition records. So the output type we are getting here is LPET. So with respect to document type, let us see if anything is existing or not. LP. Execute. Here we can see there is a condition record that exists, because of which every time we go to the scheduling agreement and scheduling lines, this output type is coming. So these are the two configuration settings. One is defining the message schema, and second one is configuring the NACE condition records. Once these two are done, then only this output type will get triggered. So depending upon the type of partner function and the output type configuration settings, the output type functionality will work. Whether this should be a printout or this should be like EDI, mail, IDOC, external send, etc. Here it is a simple printout setting. Upon configuring the EDI or IDOC settings, once the scheduling agreement and scheduling lines are saved, an IDOC will get triggered and will be sent to vendor. Hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching.